Hi there, my name's Leanne Dunn and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. Today I'm going to show you how to make this beautiful card using the bleaching technique. And I'm also going to show you how we get this beautiful shine with the embossing powder that Stampin' Up! Offers. To start, you'll need your card base, which is an 8.5 by 11 piece of Night of Navy cardstock cut in half. And I've scored this at 4 1/4. And that's where it's going to be folded in half. You'll also need another piece of Night of Navy cardstock. This one is 2 inches by 4 inches, and this is what we're going to be stamping the truck on. So the stamp sets that we're going to be using are Country Livin', which we're using the truck. We're going to use the Country Road stamp set, and we're going to be using this pretty stamp right here. And the Friendly Expressions one, and that's where the Life is Tough, but so are you is going to come from, and this has a lot of really great expressions for many different situations. Alright, so I'm going to get started with the truck. So since I'm going to be embossing, I'm just going to rub the embossing buddy over top, and that's just going to make sure that the embossing powder doesn't get all over the place. So the next thing we're going to do is go ahead and ink up our truck, and that is going to be with the Versamark stamp pad, and this is what we use for embossing. So I'm just going to go ahead and get this one all inked up. It is a little big, so you kind of have to move it around, and I always just double check and make sure it's completely covered. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and stamp this on. Sorry for any camera shaking, just trying to make sure that I get even pressure. Okay. And next we are going to add the embossing powder. So I'm going to be using the copper. And I just have a piece of scrap paper here that I'm going to use underneath so that I can collect the powder and dump it back in. So all you do is you just take it and just make sure that all of the open areas are covered. All right, now that that's on there, we are going to dump it off. Okay, so that looks pretty good. And then with the excess, I just took my paper and rolled it up a little bit, and I'm just going to dump it back in. All right, so this piece is ready to be embossed. So for the embossing, we're just going to use this heat tool that Stampin' Up! Offers. It has a few different settings. So I'm going to use it on the second setting, the number 2 up here, and get this heated up. So I'm probably going to lower the sound so that I don't burst your eardrums, but watch the effect that it has as I go ahead and run the heat on it. Okay, so now we've got this fully embossed truck, and just be careful when you're embossing to not burn your fingers. Keep your fingers away from the heat, and I just keep it in a circular motion as you saw, so that I'm not heating one area too long, as we don't want to burn the paper. So that's all done. Now we can move on to the card base. So we're going to use this half here. Is going to be the front. So again, we're going to take the embossing buddy and just rub that along the paper. Make sure that it's good and covered. Okay. Okay. So again, we're going to use the Versamark ink. And again, this is a little bit bigger of a stamp, so you might just need to move it around a little bit. Okay, so that looks good. And with this card, I just started on the left and worked my way to the right. So we'll start up here. And then this is just going to be a rinse and repeat. So now we are going to add the embossing powder. So again, putting a piece of scrap paper underneath and just dumping this all on the card. And when you're using this much, you're probably going to about empty your powder, but don't worry, because we can just dump it right back in. So now again, we're just going to pat the card onto the paper, make sure that all the excess is off. Okay, that looks pretty good to me. And once again, go ahead and heat this up. All right, we're going to set this aside for now. We'll add the greeting in a little bit. And we're going to move back to the truck. So for the bleaching technique, you can use any extra bleach you might have laying around. I just dumped some in the cap here. It doesn't take much, just a very tiny bit. And you're going to use a blending pen, a blender pen. I marked a side here just with painter's tape, so that I know which side I've used bleach on before. And all you're going to do is just dip the tip of your pen in and apply where you would like the detail. And it doesn't take much at all. And you can see it starting to change there. So you're just going to go around and add the bleach where you want it. Now you can go back and add some more if you want it to be a little bit, I guess, lighter in this case. It really makes it stand out more. Okay, so that'll lighten up in just a moment here. Now on the original card, you can see that I've colored some bits here, so I did get a little bleach where I didn't want to, but that's okay. So I'm using the watercolor pencils that Stampin' Up! Offers. So I'm going to use the Whisper White, and I'm just going to do that on these windows here, and as you can see, that covered the bleach pretty well. I also have some of the basic gray, which we're going to use on the grill here. We can use the Daffodil Delight on the lights. And I was really impressed with how well the yellow came through. And then I also colored these little wood pieces in with the early espresso. Alright, and I forgot to pull out the basic black, so I'll just go ahead and show you. This is the box, and they come in, and it shows you the colors on the back there. So we'll just pull out the black. There's the basic black. And we will do the wheels, or the tires. Alright, so that is all colored in. So we can go ahead and set that to the side for now. And I'm going to move the bleach so that I don't spill it. And we can come back to our card base now. So the reason I didn't add the sentiment yet was I wanted to see about where I would like to place this in relation to where I would like the saying. So it looks like we're going to want to put this about here, and that will allow us to center the truck out nicely. So once again, we'll grab our Versamark just for one last time. Make sure that we get this evenly inked up. Okay, so that looks good. And we're just going to place this so that it is centered. Perfect. And once again, we're going to grab our scrap paper, put it underneath, and grab the embossing powder. And we will heat emboss this one more time. Alright, we are just about finished up. So now we can take this and fold it in half. Just being a little cautious because I just heated that, so it might still be prone to rubbing off if I were to run my finger across it. So we'll set that aside for now. And we'll take the truck and we will add some dimensionals. Okay, so that's all set. And I'm going to take the card base and use the bone folder and just run this across the edge here and make this crease good and tight. It's a little bit bent due to the heating, but you can always take it and bend it around a bit as you need. And now we can attach the truck. So again, we're just gonna find the center and attach. And there you go. So I found this card to be a lot of fun to make, and I hope that you enjoyed watching it. And I'd love to see if you've tried this technique yourself and any fun cards that you've made. I found that the Night of Navy gives this really pretty color that reminds me of a patina, which was what made me decide to use the truck on it. Alright, well thank you so much for watching, and let me know what you'd like to see next. Bye!